So let's start about today's class. It is all about precious and artistic form to summarize. So I believe as some of you might have uh, encountered this term for the very first time, and because you might not have any idea about what is precious, so that is why the slagline is there, an artistic form to summarize, so you can understand that uh, precious refers to a form to summarize the thing. So there might be several questions that circulate in your mind, that if we are going to summarize, so why not making a summary? So why are we calling it as a precious, not as summarized? So that's the thing we'll be looking at. So, some summary and preci, they are different things, so that is what we will be looking at. And as I said earlier, as you understand my teaching philosophy, you know that, and I believe in practices. So definitely you will have some practices while you will go carrying through this one. So please take notes whenever and whatever necessary, as you can make comments on there. So these will be our contents for this content. uh, Identifying preci, objectives of preci, and similarity index, precious versus summary. How can we differentiate and identify the similarities between preci and summaries, and how to develop a preci, and some common pitfalls to avoid. And there will be samples and practices, and the closing note along with your references. So what is a preci? So if you look at this one and the key observations, so what are the basic things? So it looks precise, but it is actually précis, a concise summary of a text capturing its essential ideas and argument. So it is actually summarizing the idea what you are going giving through. Maybe in this class, it is possible that one of your friends could not join due to his or her involvement in another things. It could be family, it could be other things. It is possible. So what you can do for him or her is that you design a miniature of today's class and share it with your friend or classmate, and that is how you can share the content or information of this class to your classmates. So the way you are doing it is referred as preci, because you do not omit uh, some information, rather than you make it as a miniature of the whole class. So what's the difference between miniature, little version of the higher one? So give me an example of that. For example, um, if you have seen the movie Downsize, you can see that one of the actors, or the theme of the movie is about uh, being smaller, like a Lilliputian. Because if you are small, then you need little space, you need little food, and to reduce the ongoing and rising problem of the places and the food, or all through the world, there could be a development. That's a scientific movie, that's not a comedy movie. So that's the one solution, that everybody goes to downsizes, then their food consumption will be lower and other things. So the thing is that you can, if you have been to the campus, especially uh, at the fifth floor, then you can find that in front of your vice chancellor's office, you will find a miniature of your campus. So so uh, so the basic architectural design of your campus, you will find that that is beautifully decorated in a place in front of your vice chancellor's office. So that means that everything you have in this whole building, in that small building, in that demo size, you will find everything in there. So that is what we refer as miniature. And same thing we want to bring in a preci. in summary you might not find that. There will be differences in the later part, so don't have pressure on it. We will have these things. So what we will do in a Prezi, we will miniature the portrait of the original work, not a paraphrase. It will not paraphrase, it will not, downsize the thing. Sorry, it will be downsizing the thing, rather than it will omit some of the things, it will be deleting the things, it will not deleting the things actually. Okay, so what it will do, it is written entirely in your own words. That means remains completely objective, no opinions in the air. So that means sometimes we try to do that. We, for example, in a paragraph on traffic jam, we try to uh, inject our own idea, like as the government should do these things. I believe that if the government would do the things, then the rate of traffic jam would be lower. So those opinions are not necessary in Prezi. So it will be based entirely on in your own words, and it will be remain completely objective. So that means you will be designing it from a third person perspective. There will be no I and you or we will be in there. And at the same time, it will follow the original structure, logic, and tone. So that means you will not put it your emotion in there, your judgment in will not be in there. So what you will do, you will just put the same structure, same logic, and same tone that the original picture has, that means original text has. For example, it is possible that maybe whenever you will be in your job, then you might design a complete report about any business, any dealings, uh, any dealings with organizations. You might be the key person which who have done that one. So as a part of your responsibility, you might have to write a complete report on it. So the authority, they might not have proper time to read a 100-page article. So what they might want from you, they might want a very short summary which will have the same structure, logic, and tone that you have designed and in your original report. So that's what will be appreciated. So what will be the objectives of Prezi? It will be have critical reading. That means you will have to identify the core argument and the evidence as well, and separating main ideas from minor details. So minor details will not be there. So you will be having the core ideas, and how those core ideas become justified, it will be designed by the supporting evidence. And you will have only the main ideas from the minor details, and there will be clear writing. So it will help you to make concise, precise, and objective. So one particular idea is precision. That means very target oriented, very precise. And from that word you have this word precis, and the objective in your own academic and professional writing. So it will be you can use it in both your academic and professional writing. So it is possible. So for example, maybe in the last semester you might design your own thesis paper, and in the thesis paper, whenever you will be developing a thesis paper, you might you have to read a lot of text, or a lot of research article. And sometimes you need to have a miniature of those research article in order to design your own paper, for example, for literature review, or for designing introduction. So definitely you need to be very concise and precise and very objective whenever you will be able to do these things. So in both ways, it is possible that you need to design a pressure. And for academic success as well, that means, for as I said earlier, literature review and article analysis and research proposals, and definitely for exam preparation as well, you need to do these things. But before going to the next slide, you should keep your mind that this is mostly focused on your practice based one. So the theories, they are important in order to design your Prezi, not to memorize them. Because it is not necessary for you to understand the memorize the objectives of Precis. So please do not memorize as that Precis have three objectives: critical reading, clear writing, and academic success. Rather than try to implement these things in your writing whenever you will be designing a Precis. So as I said that it will be a little bit different and between Precis and the summary. So here are the differences. In here you will find the differences in goals, that means in their objectives, in their structures, in their tone, and in their length. So definitely whenever you will be designing a summary, you will have a general overview of the main points. So so all the main points you will have general overview on there, rather than, and whenever you will be designing a Precis, you wanted to input everything but in a miniature point. And the structure, it will definitely follow original logic and order that we have understood in the previous slides. But in summary, there is more flexibility in there. You can reorder the points for clarity. So whenever you think that this is the best way to bring clarity in your summary, to understand your audience, you have that flexibility to reorder the points and say in a summary. But in Precis, you cannot do that. And in tone, maintains the author's original tone. As I said earlier, that definitely you need to follow the same tone that that particular original writing has. But whenever you will be having a summary, that could be neutral and written in your own voice. So you might have read the things and you might design your own point of view whenever you are doing the summary. But in Precis, you cannot do that. You have to be the same thing. You have to design the same thing what the original work has. And the length, sometimes uh, the teachers, or maybe who will guide you to design, or who will instruct you to design Precis, they might give you the strictness on the size of of a Precis, and that could be the one third. For example, if it is 100 lines, then, or 100 words, then your Precis might be a word of consisting of 33 words only, or a text consisting of 33 words only, or a text consists of 33 lines only. So there's the basic guideline in there. And but don't be so strict in our academic writing. It is possible that sometimes it gets a little bit longer, considering the one third. For example, it could be 40, it could be 42, 45 out of 100. It is possible. So so don't take a lot much pressure in the end. But definitely summary has the more flexibility in there. It could be shorter than the original, but it doesn't have the strict guideline of being one third of this one. Sometimes it could be 50%, sometimes it could be more than 50%, sometimes it could be less than 50%. Those are things are fine for creating a summary. So, and how to do these things? So these are the steps in there. So I believe you need to have clear identification of these steps, because whenever you will have the practice, then you need to the step up and follow these steps. So that is the step one. And sometimes I call it um, pre-writing stage, or precise as designing stage. So before designing a Precis, what you have to do, first of all, you need to read actively. So there is a concern. Some of you might not understand what does it mean by actively. So definitely I am reading. So what does it mean by that? So whenever it says that actively, that means you are not only reading, but you are engaging yourself. That is what is active reading. So sometimes it is possible that you can only read but you cannot understand what is there. So you might not actively reading at that moment. So in this particular area, whenever you are designing Precis, definitely you need to understand that, and that is why you need to read actively. So if it is possible, read 2 times, read 3 times. Based on your understanding, you can increase the number of reading of the text. And then the identify the thesis. Thesis statement is one of the areas you can focus on whenever you are developing a writing. Maybe in some other classes I might introduce you with the coherence question and thesis statement, how to design a paragraph in there. So it is possible that we will have the introduction of paragraph writing as well. So there I might show you about the thesis statement. So thesis statement refers to the central claim. So um, these are the stem of a tree. So consider uh, the very next part after the root till its branches. So uh, um, that branchless part of the tree is called as stem, because that whole part is very thick, very strong, and based on that the whole tree and and its branches are put together in there. So that's the stem in there. So you can consider the thesis statement as the stem of your writing. So it could be any writing. It could be precis, it could be paragraph, it could be essay, but the thesis statements will be considered as your stem of your writing. So that's a central claim, because from there you will find where you are going to produce your writing. So the main thing you need to produce in there, as you know that in precis you cannot change the original tone. So definitely what you need to do, you need to miniature the claims of the author from the text, as you can put it in there. And definitely you need to have to find supporting points as well in order to justify the main idea. There is the writing says, the paragraph writing or the essay writing says, definitely there should always be a supporting idea. So as you are not omitting this, so definitely you also need to identify what are the supporting points in there and the purpose as well. So I mean, in every point of view, you there might have different opinions and views. For example, if I consider about this class, so some of you consider it as unnecessary, some of you consider it necessary, some of you think that it is unnecessarily lengthy, so you can understand precisely in a lesser time. So it could be your personal opinion, it could be your personal view. So as an author, definitely when a particular author is writing something, he or she has his or her own view about that particular topic in there. So you need to understand that, and that tone, that argument, that persuasion in there, because you need to synchronize the tone, structure and persuasion of the writer's or author's voice with you. So that's the whole point to make a pressure in there. In the next step you need to outline and draft. So that's the thing you are going to start in it is a while stage or during a stage whenever you have started your writing and to design a pressure. So what you can do, you can create an outline. So as if you can identify the thesis and the supporting main points, you can have the outline in there. So write down your first sentence, start by saying the author's name and the title of the work and the author's main thesis. So it is possible that sometimes you might not find the author's name in there. So in that case you can say that the author or the speaker, or that way you can describe the things as an author. So the author feels that this way, the author discuss it this way. So you can do these things by starting your precis, the first line. And whenever you are trying to drafting the body, you need to make your outline along with the thesis statement which you have designed, and after the first sentence or in the first sentence. So you need to make the progression as you have found out in your um, original writing, the way original writing is developed. So you need to follow the similar pattern in there, similar steps in there, in order to design your draft for the precis. And whenever you are doing that, you have to use your own words rather than copying words from the text. So please do not copy your works in the examination, and whenever you are having or writing a precis. So use your own words rather than copying text or copying information from the original text. And last of all, whenever you are going to conclude that one, so briefly state the author's final point, conclusion, or final implication. What does that author wanted to mean? And so use this information as the author's final point or author's view as the end of your precis. So that's the guideline for you. And how to and the review and refine. So after completing this one, so that will be considered as a post stage of precis writing or precis developing or designing. So what you will do after completing your draft, you will check your accuracy. So look at your meaning, whether you have misinterpreted anything or not. So you have done that thing in a positive manner or not. You need to check for the accuracy and check for the objectivity as well. If you have added your personal opinions, like as I think, I believe these things, so please remove that, those are not necessary. And then check the conciseness. So as you know that Prezi is for to design a very small writing. And so yeah, just look at it, check it, how far is has it gone. So if it has gone more than one third, then please look back and try to concise it. And check the flow, whether you it is one of the ideas that you can read aloud the precis, so it will be more understandable, but it is not necessary. You can have clear, coherent, and stand alone paragraph whenever you will be checking your precis. So that's the steps. So what are the things you need to change, you need to avoid? Those things are listed in here. For example, include your own opinion or analysis. Please do not do that. We have said these things before. And use direct quotes, paraphrase everything. These things, you will not do that. Okay, so you will not include your opinions and analysis, you will not use direct quotes, you will not paraphrase everything, you will not misinterpret the author's meaning, because you will produce the exact same thing which you have in there. So please do that. Okay, and then change the author's original structure, so do not do that. And have this one and the same one as the author meant, and include minor details. That will not you do that. You will not include minor details, you will focus on the final points in the major points. You will not add examples, you will not add stats. For example, you have find that that particular work or particular writing says that there are 65% of this one, 75% of this one, 25% is this one. You will not do that. So you will avoid those things. And write a critic or response. So don't be critic or don't be responsive on this one. So even if you do not like it, because that's not your job. So whenever you are designing precis, you will not share your personal opinion, you do not critic about the writing, you do not be responsible for the writing. So do not do this. So these things you need to avoid. I'm repeating these things, you need to avoid these things. So please do not do these things which are mentioned in this slide. So you need to focus that, make sure that you have not done these things whenever you're designing precis. So now we are at the end of this one. So what are the qualities of a good precis? So if you want to look at the qualities of a good precis, you will find that there will be completeness in there, there will be conciseness and compactness in there. So it will be very short, it will be very concise, it will be very compact, and there will be brevity in there. That means the chunk of conciseness. In other words, there should be clarity in there, as you are going to summarize the things, as you are going to squeezing the things. That means the clarity is necessary, and the coherence is there. Coherence is means make it as a whole one. Okay, so do not make these things as it seems like that you are joining the things, maybe five different sentences from five different paragraphs, and you wanted to make sure that you have done a good practice. So do not do that. So do make sure that your words, your sentences are properly coherent. And then the correctness, so make sure it is properly correct in terms of grammar, it is correct considering its tense and punctuations and other grammatical items. And the objectivity, so identify that the objectivity, what are there are the objectivity of this one, but do not make it objective. Okay, so do not make it objective, but there should be objectivity in the how this preci has gone through. And definitely you should bring the logical and natural sequences in there. So logical and natural sequences will help you to design a good preci, because you know that you cannot change the order of the original work. So definitely you need to focus on the same structure, same design that the original work has. So I believe this is the time to have your practice. So I would like to share an example with you, that is precision in preci. So whenever you are focusing on preci, there should be a very precision in the. So what will be that? So look at the sentence in there. This sentence is quite long, a three-line sentence. All night long, the snowy which Heathrow had been only light came down thickly, so thickly by morning, the little village nestling so snugly at the foot of the Alps was in danger of being covered with blanket of death. So that is very poetic, I should say, big, or I could say very dramatic as well. And the sentence is long, and I feel that my learners might be facing challenges in order to understand this one. So look at the gist one, then we'll go about this one. So definitely you can always look at the dictionaries to identify if you have some words which you do not understand. But if you look at the gist in there, the gist of the sentence may be gathered from writing down the words in italics. So they are: the snow came down so thickly that the little village was in danger of being covered. So now you can understand what the three I mean three-lined consisted word meant. It is very simple. The snow came down so thickly that the little village was in danger of being covered. So that means you can understand that in the Alps, the mountain, and you have the villagers found that there are snow in there, and they are very thick, and they then the thought that it might cover their village, and they are in danger. So they are maybe they are maybe surprised, or they are maybe afraid of being dead, because as the layer of the snow is very thick, so it is possible in there. So yeah, I mean it is a very good example that how you make things shorten, and still you have given all the informations in there. So that is what is you have as a precious. So let's have a practice in here. So this is the text, and this text is about 98 words. Guided practice. Let's do one together. So read this text and design your pressure. So that's the task. You have done this. You have identified these things. You have understood these things. So I want to have one practice, at least one practice now at this moment. So as you we can understand each other, what are the things you needed. So maybe it's 9:47, maybe 5 minutes to read and design a peshi. So produce whatever you have found, whatever you have understood based on this text. Definitely we'll have a solution after this one. So produce whatever and however way you added it, just add the information, just add the peshi in your writing. So based on this one, please do the things. You have exactly 4 minutes from now on. Okay, I will be back in 4 minutes. If you have any questions and queries, as you can ask now, or you can ask after we have this one, because we will have a solution of this one after 4 minutes. Thank you very much. 4 minutes to design a presi based on this one. Okay, let's read the text first. The digital the digital native is a concept that has been widely accepted but is in fact a misleading myth. So misleading myth. So that's the point you need to focus, misleading myth. And then the term coined by Mark Prensky suggests that anyone born after 1980 is inherently proficient with technology. This assumption is flawed. It creates a false equivalence between social media use and deep digital literacy. True digital literacy is not about knowing how to post a photo, it is the ability to critically evaluate online sources, understand data privacy, and understand data privacy and leverage technology for complex problem solving. By leveling students natives, educators often abdicate the responsibility to teach these essential complex skills, assuming a proficiency that doesn't exist. Um, I I believe there could be some different things um, considering the idea of being a digital native and digital immigrant. So if you have the idea of being a digital native and the digital immigrant, if you can differentiate based on that, is that whenever you are residing in a particular area, that means you know about all of the things, you know everything in there. So whenever, if you are not these things, that means you are not in there. Maybe if you are from other countries, that means you are immigrating, that means you need to learn a lot of the things. For example, if you are Bangladeshi, and if you are a Bangladeshi and you want to uh, if you are a Bangladeshi and uh, you want to go to New York, then what you need to do, you need to understand and learn their culture. So what you have to do, you have to learn everything. I mean, as a new person or as a beginner, that you have to do these things. Okay, so you will be learning those things as a new manner. Okay, but uh, but if you are an immigrant, if you are a native in there, then that means that you already know these things. So that is what's the difference between an digital native and digital immigrant. So whenever you are a digital native, that means you know these things as by birth. Okay, so you are very accommodated with these things from your very early stage. So that is why uh, Mark Prinsky, he says that um, after 1980s, the kids who born after 1980, they are digital native, and because they have that aptitude about learning and understanding technology. But this particular writer, this author, says that there is a misunderstanding about the native. Digital native does not refer to doing the basic work rather than understanding the complex work of technology. That's the basic idea is there. So the species you have developed, I have found that most of them are very organized, very thin, very fine. But considering the guidance of this one, sometimes you need to be a little bit of adding those things as you do not miss this information. So if you are considering this one, so you need to consider it in it as three parts. The first one is the quant part and the assumption part, and how what does people do it by these ones, and what does it original mean. So you can consider these things and develop these things in three parts, and that is how you can make it. So so these are the solutions. Considering the thesis, the digital native concept is a myth. This is the thesis part. Social media use is for true digital literacy. And then supporting point, the myth leads educators to neglect technical essentials, complex tech skills. So they think that, okay, as they are the digital natives, they do not need the things. That's the supporting point. So what will be our Preshi? The provided text argues that the concept of the digital native is a misleading myth. You can also use that the author wanted to argue that, or author argues that the concept of the digital native is a misleading myth. It contends the term incorrectly equates casual tech use with deep digital literacy, which involves critical evaluation and problem solving. The author concludes that this flawed assumption causes educators to fail in the responsibility to teach these essential skills. So they think that, okay, they are digital native, so we do not need to teach them the digital literacy, but they do not understand what does true digital literacy mean. So there's the sample practice. I believe you can compare with yours and you can identify these things. So you can do this again. There is another practice in there. You can have 10 minutes in there, but I will suggest you to make it in an earlier stage. And there is a sample solution is there. So first of all, go to the practice, try to identify, and then make it a solution. So there is another practice in there, and you will find a lot of the things in there as well. And I also would like to tell you that you will get two different books supporting your precious writing, and lots of examples you will find in there. And in summary, you can understand that a précis is a miniature portrait of an argument. That's what we said earlier. And it follows the structure, tone, and logic of the original one. And it should be objective. It should be objective, concise, and write your own words. So do not use your opinions, but your own words. You do not say that you these things, but whenever you will be designing the writing, you have to use all your own words. That's the theme there. So there is a time for question, and definitely the references are there. And very much thank you to all of you.